Head on over to our sponsors, Wrestling Pins, at wrestlingpins.bigcartel.com for awesome handcrafted, beautifully made pins such as The Undertaker, The Ultimate Warrior, and Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, if you head on over and you put the promo code IOHPOD15, you get 15% off your order. Just enter that at checkout. That's IOHPOD15 for 15% off your order. And Deez, tell them about our affiliates.
Yeah, we've got a load of affiliate links. If you head over to our link tree, linktr.ee/It's Our House Pod, we've got loads of brands on there, pop sockets, we've got art prints, we've got gym clothes, we've got loads of stuff, loads of codes down there to save yourself 10, 15% off. Head on over there as soon as you can.
Yep, and every click helps out the pod. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of It's Our House Podcast with Faz and Deez. I'm Faz, and that heel is Deez. How are you, buddy?
Oh, I've had a day of it, haven't I? Another fun day of the Twitterverse. Yeah, yes. I'm really good, mate.
Yes,
really good.
It's Mother's Day at the moment while we're recording. A few weeks later, but Deez is doing his usual Twitter storm. A lot of people, they actually think it's a character.
Yeah, no, I'm just a prick. There you go. Move along.
That's very true. It's very true.
No, what's the point in having a gimmick? Like, I'm not Meltzer. I'm not Cornette. I'm not Cornette hating on women. I'm not Meltzer sucking off AEW. So no, I'm just a dickhead.
But he's my dickhead, and that's what
matters
most. That's what matters
not
most.
Sorry.
But today,
sorry.
We're doing something again, a little bit different. You've probably seen over the last few weeks, we've had different types of guests and things on. So before we talk about this week's episodes, I just want to say thank you to all you new subs, you new lovers, you new likes, you new commenters, you new podcast downloaders. Just head on over there. Everywhere you go, subscribe, give us a like, comment. You don't really understand how much it helps us out. It really keeps us going. We've had a massive increase in the last 28 days. I think like nearly 150 new subs. I think we're on like 7K views, something like that. Bischoff and Renee have really blew up for us. Obviously, we had Kevin. We don't know how he's doing at this particular moment, but we know he will be smashing it. So thank you very much
for
everyone who's come along. But what we're going to do today is we just wanted to have a talk mainly about football, but we're also just going to talk about our day, like the fact that Deez doesn't like KFC pizza thing. What was it?
Like on the surface of it, KFC pizza sounds amazing. I love pizza. I love KFC. I love food. I love KFC chicken's incredible. Second to none. It's just a bit expensive. But it's Mother's Day. We thought we'd order something in rather than cooking.
Throw some chicken. There you go, love.
I looked at it and I thought, that looks good. Look at that popcorn chicken. Look at all that cheese. Shitloads of cheese. Looks beautiful. And then it said that the base is made of gravy. And I've found myself drinking KFC gravy on many, many occasions. Not a problem at all.
Is that before or after drinking alcohol, or just any time?
Bit of both. Pint of gravy. Do a Sam Allardyce.
And then go right back to gravy.
Pint of gravy, pint of beer, packed to the gravy. Yeah, finish the night off strong, you know. Next day, hair of the dog, have another pint of gravy. Beautiful. Yeah, so no, didn't go for that in the end. Sounded absolutely rank.
I've never had it. And I think, it's like you said, I think with Pizza Hut, it can be quite expensive. So again, are you going to really buy
expensive mistake
a full-size pizza that then you have to like throw in the bin? It's not the best.
Yeah, even if you ain't got a deal on, they're like 25 quid. It's a lot.
It is. I love the £50 off deal though. That's 50% off. Sorry, when you spend
over 50% off. Yeah, I used to do that all the time, and I'd buy a couple of pizzas and keep them in for the week.
Yes. See, that's why me and Deez just belong together.
Clever.
And by the way, I'm now the gift king. I just wanted to put that out there as well. I'm replying mostly now in GIFs.
You haven't got your own gift. You haven't got your own gift, though, have you?
No, you are a bastard. God damn it! You need to reach out to everyone.
My good friend Vasalios made a gift for me. I'm going to try and find it.
Yes, Vasalios, can you do one of me, please? Just like doing this. See, you can cut that out now. Look, I've just done it twice.
I cannot find it, but I assure you, it's very, very good.
Yes, it's Deez's personality. Yeah, it's just Deez's personality. Just in the whole.
I don't know how well this is going to play.
Yeah, if you can't, just head on over to social media. I'm sure he'll put it up. Yeah, there you go. Shaking his head.
That's just me shaking my head in disapproval, like I disapprove of basically everything.
Okay,
and if you don't like it, I don't care. Vasalios, my Greek friend, thank you very much.
Yes, another one of our fantastic.
Said I was going to use it
supporters.
100 times a day, and I haven't used it once.
No, but we will. If you give me mine, I'll definitely use it. There's no doubt about that. You'll see it everywhere you go.
Give me your shittest wrestling or football takes, and I'll send that right back to you.
So, Deez, you just mentioned football, soccer to our American friends. People will probably hear more about my team than yours. So, do you want to start with who you support?
World famous, world renowned Coventry City. Thank you very much. Heart of the Midlands.
Yeah.
The pride of Coventry.
Well, not at the moment. They're not even in Coventry, are they?
No. We are coming back though. That's big news. It's got everybody singing, everybody happy on the way back to the Rico soon. I think from next season, a 7-year deal, something like that. It's going to be
getting guests,
incredible, especially
getting fans back as well.
Yeah, getting fans back, beautiful timing, especially with me having a young boy now as well. If he ends up liking football, which there's no pressure on him to, but if he likes it, give it a few years. I'll take him down with my dad. Nice
3 generations, just slating people on Twitter. That's what I like to say.
Generations of Deez. That's what it's all about. That's what people want.
It is, and I'm a Liverpool fan. I've seen us win everything that's ever existed in the world of football, but this year has not been the best for the Old Redmen. The pandemic has kind of kicked our asses a bit, and I think what we've kind of figured out this year is that the 12th man of the COP, it's missed us. I'm proper heartbroken. I'm not gonna lie. But I've seen us win the Champions League twice. I've seen us win the Premier League. I've seen us win the FA Cup, Europa Cup, League Cup. I can't really complain.
Your injuries have not helped. It's been a fucking shocker of a year for injuries. Every team's had injuries, but like your Man Cities have been missing key players, but they haven't been missing half their team.
No, they missed it last year, which is why they couldn't challenge us. If you remember rightly, they have Fernandinho at centre half. Yeah, it is. At the same time, I think Klopp. We've had the conversation about it. I think Klopp plays this style of football sometimes where after 2-3 years, the team gets completely burnt out. He did it at Dortmund. They won. They were one of the first teams to break that buy-in barrier. And then I think like a season or two later, he was fighting relegation. You know what I mean? Just before he came to us, he pushed them back up again. But it's the way he plays, constant pushing. You know what I mean?
Their top guy, their like owner, recently said, didn't he, that the biggest mistake was getting rid of Klopp and not getting rid of the players instead.
Yeah.
It's a weird one. It's been a really weird season. Liverpool have let me down a few times in gambling and stuff, and like as annoyed as I've been at losing the bet,
we could have had world-class guests, but Liverpool let them down.
Exactly. Where were that was 600 quid. They let me down on 600 quid because they couldn't beat shitty, lowly little Fulham. I think, did you lose at home?
Yeah, we've lost at home. We haven't won at home in 6 or 7 games by this has come out.
Yeah. And what you mentioned there was interesting about like the style of play. Like you keep that up for years and years and years. Eventually you get found out, and that happens with like the likes of, I don't know, first one that springs to mind, Sheffield United.
Yeah.
It came up not last season, the season before. They finished 9th last season, or 8th, I think it was.
Great season. Amazing
season. Like they genuinely for months and months and months looked like they were going to make the Champions League, and it was incredible. And I think only the most diehard of Sheffield Wednesday fan was rooting against them. We, as a neutral, we all wanted them to do it, break that sort of glass ceiling, break through the big six. Unfortunately, it didn't happen in the end, but as victims of their own success, like you see so often, they kept playing that style. They kept sticking to the values of the club of not spending big, not bringing in big names. They're only Sheffield United. They weren't going to be attracting your Messis and your Ronaldos or anything, but if you're not willing to invest those billions of pounds that are shared out amongst the teams every season for the TV rights, you ain't gonna last very long. And now look at them; they're like 15 points off safety, 13 points. They lost 5-0 today to obviously a very good Leicester, but this is Sheffield United who, I believe, I think they beat Chelsea and United last season.
Yeah, they put in a good game every game last year. They weren't like Leicester.
Yeah.
Even the ones they lost. They did, but and but I think one of the biggest things for them is, and I don't know whether obviously it's true with Wilder going, it's that he apparently pushed, and obviously I have a lot of interest in this, but he pushed to get what's his name, the striker? I have to say in that. Oh, what's his name? From Liverpool.
Origi?
No, from Liverpool. They signed him. The young lad, I can't remember. Brewster. Had a great
Brewster,
had a great season the season before in the Championship. Came back to us.
Yep, Swansea.
Yeah, had a good few pre-season games, and apparently, Wilder was pushing, and he still hasn't scored. Still hasn't scored to this point. And it's like you've said, a lot of the teams do that. That's the problem with when you stay up. Sheffield United needed an established Premier League player up front. They needed it. If they would have got someone like Danny Ings, I know they weren't, but I'm saying if they had someone like Danny Ings, it's a different ballgame.
Yeah, especially when you're spending 23-25 million pound, whatever it was that Brewster cost them. Like
25.
I know they're a Premier League team, but that even in the Premier League can sometimes get you 2 or 3 not great players, not world beaters, but good enough to keep you out of the relegation zone.
Yep.
Look at obviously you'll know him well as a Liverpool fan. Someone like Lallana has gone to Brighton and rediscovered himself. Someone like Ross Barkley went to Villa on loan, and he's been one of their standout players with the likes of Grealish. They didn't invest, and they didn't look at the loan market well enough. They, as you say, they got in Brewster. I think Sheffield United were more one of them teams that were more bothered about keeping their team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not losing any of their better players like Fleck, or I was going to say, they haven't even got any goal scorers. Billy Sharp, David McGoldrick, he used to play for Coventry. He was crap for us as well. They, like I said, they should have been pushing for those players that had something to prove, like your Barclays, like your Delphs, players like that.
And I think obviously losing Henderson, huge.
Yeah.
Massive loss for them.
Yeah, and it's even more of a shame when you consider he didn't go straight into being United's first team keeper.
Stupid. De Gea's had an absolute woeful last 3 years. And don't get me wrong, they're doing all right now, but there's still instances where you just shake your head, isn't there? And go, oh, De Gea, why? Why did you do that mistake?
My biggest thing about Sheffield United with sacking Chris Wilder is this must have been a long time coming. Well, maybe not the sacking being a long time coming, but they've known where they are in the league. They know that they're struggling. They're struggling for form. They're struggling to score goals. Like I can't remember the last time they scored 2 goals. I genuinely can't. And I watch the Premier League every week, but they why not make a change months in advance around Christmas? Christmas is the time where, especially if you've not had any investment over the winter period, make that change. Bring in a Sam Allardyce. He would have taken the job. He's not having the best of times keeping West Brom up, but that's because they're another team that don't really invest. Bring in an established relegation fighter, a Nigel Pearson, somebody like that. Chris Wilder, God, I feel really bad for the guy, and I'm never normally particularly bothered when a manager gets sacked because they're going to get fucking 10-20 million in compensation. So can you be that sad for him?
No.
But he was a former Sheffield United defender, a Sheffield United fan all of his life. He'd been there for about 4 or 5 years and took them from League One up to the Championship, up to the Premier League, to a 9th position finish. We say this probably 5 times a season when it comes to managers. Where's the loyalty? Like, there's a reason why no managers. There's a reason why we're never going to see another Alex Ferguson or another Arsene Wenger.
Yeah,
in terms of their length of employment, or however you want to word it.
I think, to be honest, the only one who will come close, and I know obviously we've had the chat about it, but I just don't see Liverpool getting rid of Klopp until his contract's up. I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't.
And it depends on what he wants to do next. Obviously, he's not just had a bad season on the pitch. He's had a personally bad season, hasn't he, with his mother dying and things like that, and not being able to go to a funeral. Even though I want to say it was actually De Gea, funnily enough, was allowed to go and visit his kids in Spain, his wife and kid in Spain, but Klopp couldn't go and see his mum.
Germany, innit? Different rules, different. I think Alisson couldn't go home, could he? Either
to Brazil.
He wasn't allowed to go there.
Yeah, so it's
crazy 24 months, hasn't it? You know, obviously I didn't want the season to end when people were calling for it. I'll be honest. You know, I think unless you were going to hand us the title, but then it would have been that tainted title, and everyone would have been like, "You got to hand it to you," even though we were like 35 points clear or some bollocks like that.
No, I'm taking that tainted title that we won when the season ended. We were 5 or 7 points clear, so nothing. You know, we could have been caught.
Yeah.
But we were on fire, man. I know it was only League One, and you know, but we were just far and away the best team in that entire league for the whole season. We were embarrassing teams. We were playing some amazing football. It's because we were off in Birmingham playing a better pitch, a pitch that's designed for football. I'm looking forward to coming back to the Rico, but it's a rugby pitch.
Yeah,
it's a rugby pitch that they then, you know, like look after and tend to so that it's ready for the football, and we always play garbage on it. So I don't know if we're even going to be a championship team by then. The other problem is we're 5 or 6 points out of the relegation zone at the minute, and Rotherham keep having COVID. Our American listeners are like, "What's a Rotherham? What's a Coventry?" Apparently, they're all Valley girls as well.
Yeah. So that's Deez American voice for all you listeners.
We're 6 points out of relegation zone, but Rotherham have got 3 games in hand on us. They've had another game suspended. We were meant to be playing yesterday. That got postponed. At this rate, they could end up having 5 or 6 games in hand to play. And you know, if they're up for it, because they've had this long rest, it's going to end up being the best part of a month before they play a game. All their players back from injury, all their players on a nice long rest. They could just come out and smash it. They're shit, so they probably won't. But they if they pick up even a few more wins, I don't know.
Klopp, are you listening? That's what you need to do. Just say the players can't play for like 4 months, and then we'll play all our games in the space of 2 weeks. And beat them.
I know he's busy. He's busy saying that about Pep Guardiola, isn't he?
Yeah, he's funny, isn't he? Funny. Hey. So yeah, the pandemic. Let's talk about the pandemic and football. Wrestling have coped really well with it. You know, I think going to the performance center for WWE, going into what was the stadium that AEW went into, the Florida one.
Jacksonville.
Yes,
Jacksonville Jaguars. Dixie's place.
Yes, and Impact obviously staying where they are. Ring of Honor staying where they are with no fans. It was difficult at the start, especially not hearing a pin drop. But I think WrestleMania really helped us settle into that, because WrestleMania over 2 days was fantastic. I think it really did highlight what they can do. And then obviously the Thunderdome came along. And at the same time, AEW started letting talent around the ring, so there was a bit of noise. But the one thing I can't stand when it comes to football, I hate pumped-in noise. I can't. It's like FIFA. Do you know what I mean? Like on BT Sports last week. So the week commencing like the 7th of March, we played Leipzig, and when Liverpool scored, Salah, it played "You'll Never Walk Alone" from FIFA. And I hated it.
I didn't know that happened.
Yeah.
But that sounds fucking horrific.
I hated every single second of it. I wanted to cry. I wanted to die inside. It was absolutely awful. I hate pumped in noise, but then I also hate silence. It's you know, because Chris Pickles, and that is his surname, as Deez was asking earlier. He's an Everton fan. And he tweeted me and he messaged me and he said, you know, what do you think's lacking for us? And as I said at the start of this, the fans make Liverpool. They really do. I can't stress that enough. City don't struggle with it because they have no fans. They're all plastic. But see the way I said that. But it's why United are doing well now. It's not because they don't have fans. It's because the pressure's not there. United's fans put a lot of pressure on United at the moment, whereas Liverpool bask in that. That's what we're known for. We're known for having that strong fan base. So it's been really difficult to watch, I'll be honest.
Yeah, see, we've felt the effect of it I know we've got like a 29,000 seater stadium when we're in Coventry. Birmingham play out of their fucking garden shed, so it's like fucking 12 people. I don't know. It's awful. It's about, I think it's about 18 or 20,000, something like that. So even though we very, very rarely get a full stadium, unless it's a derby or a cup game or the playoffs or whatever, we've really missed the fans. The smaller teams are really missing the fans as well, especially on the road. Like if we go to a local derby or something, we miss our fans getting behind us because we are generally not very good. We were way too good for League One. You go into the Championship, start of the season, look at that Championship table. Any one of about 12 teams could realistically win it, maybe up to about 15. Anyone that's come down from the Premier League and hasn't gone straight back up could win it. Even the teams that have come up can often do well. Look at Sheffield United in the Premier League. We were never likely to be one of those teams, but Derby, Sheffield Wednesday, they're both in the relegation zone at the minute. They should be up around the top of the table. Your Forests, your Middlesbrough, your Millwalls, QPR, Preston. Preston were in the playoffs last season. Mm-hmm. And I think they're about 17th at the minute, struggling. Every team is missing its fans at the minute, apart from the teams that have still kept most of the team that they had when they came down. So that's why Norwich and Watford are doing so incredibly well. I know that Cov miss fans. I don't necessarily miss fans because I ain't used to having any. I've been to 2 sellouts in my life.
I know you should know what he's like on our Twitter and Facebook when we get a new life. He practically craps his pants.
Like, ooh, new friends.
And then he does not but target them on Twitter just to get rid of them.
Basically. I think I was going to say I miss the atmosphere, but yeah, that is part. I just miss going to a game.
Yeah.
I miss that day out. I miss
pie and a pint.
Walking around. I miss going to buy a pint. I miss going and buying a pie. I miss going in. I miss shouting at people. I like to shout at people. This is why I've become so angry on Twitter. I've got nowhere else to go and do it. I can't just shout at people in the fucking supermarket, can I?
You can't just go without a mask. You'll have a right good fight.
I didn't wear a mask for months because I had a lanyard because of my asthma. But then I got my vaccine and I thought, fuck it, I'll make the effort. Make the effort for you. Treat you. Yeah. So I think what I just miss about football is just properly enjoying it. Like you said, it's hard to watch it on the telly now. Do you know what I really hate? And I hate this about wrestling as well. I hate this about most sports that have been through this the last 18 months. I hate being able to hear the competitors, the wrestlers. I hate being able to hear the referees. I hate being able to hear the players shouting at each other. It's just a little bit weird. It's like being at an indie show. I've been to plenty of indie shows and you can hear every word that the referee's saying, and it's just a little bit awkward. It takes you out of it.
Yeah, it is when you're not prepared for it, isn't it? Even now, we're so not used to having that. Whereas, as you said, if you go to an indie show, if you go to a Sunday League game, if you go to these games with less fans, you are used to it. You're expecting it, but you're just not expecting it when you're watching, Friday Night SmackDown. You're just not expecting.
No. I tell you what, I want to talk about on the subject of football, and I'm interested to see where you stand on this because I had a little bit of a chat with people on Twitter. I wasn't being funny. I was asking a question. I was asking, what am I missing with this? Because I've watched football for 26-ish years since I was probably about 4 or 5, 25, 26 years. Love football, love everything about it. I don't understand what's going on at the minute because it's the whole dementia thing, right? So obviously we've had a few players pass away in recent years. They've had brain trauma. They've had whatever it might be, however you want to word it. They've come down with dementia. Mm-hmm. I've known old people to die like within my family, very, very recently, to do with COVID, I've known people to have dementia who were not professional footballers.
Mhm.
Now, I spoke to people about this. And I was like, can you really attribute someone having dementia and they played football to football being the reason they have dementia? They, the people who came back to me were like, well, the thing is, the balls have changed over the years. They used to be made of much harder material. They used to be made of like proper fucking full-on leather. But the balls have changed so much now. So in 50, 60 years' time, we might not see as many people coming down with dementia.
Mhm.
I get that. I appreciate it. And I appreciate that it must be horrible living with somebody or seeing somebody you love going through dementia. But really, how much can you blame football, and what can you even do about it? Because they're talking about like outlawing heading the ball, and that's just insane to me. Like, can you picture a corner? Someone's taking a corner and the ball swings in, and it just fucking pinballs around off everybody's shins and your shoulders and stuff because you can't jump and head of the ball. I don't really know. They want to stop children from heading the ball, but how do you police that?
They already have.
Do head of the ball?
They already have.
I love that. They actually
yeah,
stopped
yeah. It's. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so don't be coming at me. But
Liar.
I think Dr. Fazza, that's what I am. It's twofold, really. I think when it comes to football, I think as they rightly said, the standard of the football comes massively into play. It has evolved over the years, but one of the reasons why is because when you're a child, your brain is still developing. So a lot of the footballers back in the day, when they were playing football and they were heading this ball at a very, very young age. And, we used to, do you remember the white plastic balls we used to play with?
Yeah.
White plastic.
The Poundland ones.
Yes. So, no, not the ones that flew away. Do you remember the heavy white plastic? Like you kicked it and
shit, yeah.
went like that.
It was like this thick.
Yes, yes. So remember, we were playing with them. So imagine what they were playing with 20 years before that. So again, a lot of these kids, the head and the ball, the brain's rattling against the skull. But on the other hand, my nan currently is in the early stages of dementia. And obviously she's never played football in her life. So that is attributed more to the blood not getting to her brain. So she's got a very weak heart. And obviously the brain is effectively dying because the blood can't get pumped up into the brain. So it's twofold, really. Head injuries are a massive thing. I don't think they'll ever get rid of head in football. I'll be honest.
No, they can't.
No,
they can't, surely.
There might be a case where everyone's running around like Petr Cech. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, with helmets. Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. But I'll never see it. It's going to take a lot to get through it. But it is crazy. Again, is it just not, though, the fact that we're just losing another generation of footballers? We're getting to that part of our lives now. Yeah,
they're all in their mid to late 80s and 90s.
Exactly.
Who was it? You had was it Jack Charlton? Mm-hmm. Not all that long ago. Nobby Stiles, that was the one. Nobby Stiles. He might have headed the ball a lot. I don't know. Like, what if a goalkeeper goes down with dementia? And they had brain injuries? Can you put it? How often does a goalkeeper head the ball?
I mean, look at WWE, going back to obviously wrestling. Look at the concussion stuff they do. A lot of that is based on the fact that eventually their brain injuries will lead to this type of potential outcome. So.
Yeah, and they're much more clever with it now. They take a lot more care. Samoa Joe, Jesus Christ, I cannot remember the last time he wrestled now. I think not too long ago, it had been bang on a year.
Yeah.
Something like a month or so ago, it had been a year. And it was because he was doing an advert for WWE and some channel or some product or some streaming thing. And he bumped his head off a table.
Yeah.
And it obviously gave him a bit of a concussion. That was a year ago, and they still haven't cleared him to come back to the ring.
No. And I think
it's good to see that. As much as I miss him, it's good to see that they actually give a fuck, because they didn't in the 80s.
Exactly. And I think they're right to do so. I think, I remember the story when Samoa Joe sat down at the commentary table and apparently Vince said into his headset, see, this isn't as bad as you thought, is it? And Samoa Joe said no. Yeah. And then Vince went, this is right for you, isn't it? And Samoa Joe said, yeah. He loves the fact he's gone into this commentating. And let's moving slightly away from football, but let's go back to 10 years ago when Samoa Joe was in his prime in Impact. Could anyone have said across the industry that Samoa Joe would be the lead commentator for Monday Night Raw? Never happened.
I could have. And I'd have gone on Twitter and I'd have go at you for telling me I was wrong.
It would never have happened. I mean, look at Big Show. Big Show left because he wasn't getting that opportunity. That's literally the reason why he left.
I don't know what the fuck opportunity Big Show was looking for at his age. Technically, he headlined WrestleMania last year, so...
Yeah, and as a boss storyline with Randy Orton. He just wanted more and more and more, let's be honest.
Yeah, just like the fans who want every single wrestler in the world pushed, want every single wrestler to be champion at once. I had another thing I wanted to bring up on football, actually. It's about, and I this is a complete curveball. I haven't mentioned this to you at all. I was talking to my missus about it the other day. It's about Jose Mourinho.
Okay.
These comments were probably about a week or so ago. I listened to him on the radio. He was talking about the Champions League.
Yeah.
And obviously, the fact that the Champions League is the top of the top. It's for the best teams in the world, the best teams in Europe. All the teams who won the league. You got your Barcelonas, you got your Bayern Munichs. And then you look at the Europa League, which is obviously the teams who have sort of finished between about 3rd and 6th in most of the big leagues. But also not in the big leagues. In the Russian league, in the Turkish league, in the fucking Kazakhstani league, like literally every league around Europe, you get in all these teams that you've never heard of, all these Polish teams, all your Lech Poznans and your Legia Warsaws and all that. He was
going to come to you again, Andy, and say that's not in Europe.
Wait, who? Where?
I'm joking. I just said someone will.
Somebody will say that Kazakhstan's not in Europe. I can guarantee you, it fucking is. Google it. That's the thing. All my arguments come about because people are too fucking lazy to Google things. They'd rather just come and well, actually, no, this is what happened. Blah, blah, blah. And I'll screenshot Google. I won't say a single word, and then I'll get blocked.
Yeah, but do you remember
sorry
Jamaica?
For being right.
Do you remember
I'm
Jamaica?
sorry that I'm not stupid.
You remember
yes,
Jamaica?
See, but with Jamaica, I held my hands up instantly, and I was like, "Look, my bad."
You did.
I thought
and then you got called
an
acist because of it. You can't say that word.
I got called one of them for making an honest mistake. I wasn't mocking the accent. I wasn't mocking anything. I'm just a bit stupid. I got kicked out of geography in year 8 because I didn't give a fuck about it.
Anyway, sorry.
Look at me now. Got kicked out of geography. Look at me now. Look at me now. Hosting a podcast. Yeah, fuck you, Mr. Whatever your name was. Mr. Scanlon. Here's a good story about Mr. Scanlon, right? He once came in and I'm going to find him on Twitter. He once came in and like supply teachered for us. Obviously, my name is Chris. I was born Christopher. I was christened Christopher. I didn't like him. I was a little arsehole at school. I don't know if you can believe that or not. But he came up to me and he was like, "What's your name, boy?" And I said, "Oh, it's Chris." And he said, "Chris what?" And I went, "Chris Tuffer." And he thought I was saying Tuffer was my surname. So for the next 4 years, it was always Mr. Tuffer. I was like, "Oh yeah, Mr. Tuffer." I played up to it because I thought if he goes and tells another
has he
teacher
not got a
I've been
sheet?
an arsehole.
Did he not have a sheet? Because they've got to put your markings against things. So I don't understand.
He must have had a sheet, but he supplied for us for 1 afternoon. It was literally for a 50-minute lesson or whatever. Anyway, right, fuck Scanny. Where was I?
Mourinho, Europa League.
Mourinho.
Champions League.
Mourinho complaining that the teams who get eliminated from their groups in the Champions League should not go down to the Europa League. And I could not agree more. I've never understood the appeal of it. I understand that it's to flesh it out and it's probably to add a bit more Barcelona in the Europa League. How's that happen? Yeah, money, absolutely. And getting more people turning fucking Channel 5 on a Wednesday morning at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch Dynamo Zagreb spank Sheffield United.
Sports now. It's PC Sports now.
You know what I mean? Though, you've got a good team that have really pushed and done their best to get there and exceed expectations. Like Burnley were in the Europa League only a couple of seasons ago. How is it fair that Burnley then end up playing Bayern Munich if they've had a bit of a dodgy group and then they go on to absolutely smash the Europa League? Mm-hmm. The Europa League is the Johnston's paint trophy for European teams. Like that is for Johnson's Paint Trophy is for any team below from League One and under. That's when we won it. So yeah, I completely agree with Mourinho. Didn't think I'd ever say that. How do you feel about
it? For me, I'll put it this way.
Give me a scenario. If it was Liverpool, if you got knocked out of the group,
signal's gone.
How would you feel if you went into the Europa and then got all the way and won it and got into the Champions League by winning it? Would that feel tainted, like how people were saying not to end the season early because it'd be tainted?
No, because if you remember rightly, we won the Champions League in 2005 and we finished fifth, and then fifth. And then there was a big hoopla over Everton because Everton got into the Champions League the same season. And then they didn't get through the qualifying group the year after, the qualifying stages. They got knocked out by Villarreal, I want to say. So, no, I have no sympathy for that. But let me go into more context.
Fair enough. Okay.
Let me go into more context. Okay. If this was a brand new rule, I'd agree with you. If this came into this season, I would fully agree with you. But the fact is, it's like Bianca Belair winning the Royal Rumble and then Sasha being surprised that she gets picked.
Right,
you had the chance. You're going to go into that. You know from this group onwards, you're going to face higher position teams. Yeah. You know that, and you've known it since 2000, I think, if not even before that. So the one thing I won't ever agree with Mourinho on, he doesn't come out just like, right, I've had the same discussions with Klopp this year. He said some outrageous shit, and I've been like, just keep your fucking mouth shut. Just like Pep last year, when he was going through his, the team wasn't doing so well, and then all of a sudden, all the media's on them, and it's all a bad conversation, and then Pep's making outrageous claims. That's what seems to be the problem that Mourinho's got, is he's having these conversations every year because every single team he manages since Chelsea, he's never taken past the position that they are. Like they've, as of 7:15 on the 14th of March, they've just lost to Arsenal, 2-1.
2-1, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And Mourinho just likes to go and point at the nearest problem he's got and put a flashlight on it. He does it with players. Yeah. He absolutely destroys their confidence. Look what he did to Ali. Absolutely killed him off. Was one of the best footballers in the world last year, the year before. Mourinho's killed him off. And Mourinho, for me, is one of these managers, and it scares me to think that Klopp might become this, not in his behaviour, but in the fact that Mourinho has no plan B. Klopp has no plan B. Ferguson did well for so long because he had a plan B. He had a plan B, he had a plan C. When one striker left, he brought in another to replace them. Don't get me wrong, he signed some duds, but he always had a backup. He brought, Larson in, Sebastian Larson. He brought Michael Owen in. He brought all these players in at the right time. So when his main striker got injured, this person could come in. It's the one thing Klopp, Mourinho, and even Wenger at the end couldn't do. Wenger didn't have a plan B at the end. He played the same tactics all the time. And that's that. Go back to your Mourinho question and the Europa League. That's kind of the same for me. He's moaning about something where there's no plan B, because plan A is known from the moment a football's kicked. Do you know what I mean? He knows what his schedule is going to be like once he gets to that stage. Stop moaning about it.
Yeah. Mourinho's always been like that, actually. I think really Tottenham have been like that for about the last 5 years. They've not really ever had backup for Harry Kane.
Harry Kane is scoring 30 goals a season, and literally, and they've never got further than seconds, and that was with Pochettino.
They had Fernando Llorente. Was it Fernando Llorente? I think his name was, who'd never really been any better than scoring a few goals at Swansea.
Yeah.
I think he went over to Italy and did nothing at like a Napoli or something like that. Oh no, that's where he is now. Sorry, I think he's at Napoli now.
But why bring Bale back? Why bring Bale back? I get he's an ex, but the money you're paying him every single week, why get Bale back?
He's just about. That annoyed me as well, because everyone's like, "Oh, Gareth Bale's finding his stride again." He scored a couple of goals against some shit team in the Europa League, funnily enough. And it was like, "Oh, the best of Gareth Bale is back." They've just lost at home. No, they've just lost
away. But where they're
poor
well
Arsenal.
in form. Yeah, I mean, Arsenal doing well at the moment. They've been doing well for the last ever since they said, as you said, with loyalty. Ever since they said get rid of him, he's actually turning around and they're doing well. Like they didn't even have a Aubameyang on today because apparently he's done something dodgy. Don't know what that is.
For awesome handcrafted, beautifully made pins such as The Undertaker, The Ultimate Warrior, and Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, if you head on over and you put the promo code IOHPod15, you get 15% off your order. Just enter that at checkout. That's IOHPod15 for 15% off your order. And Deez, tell them about our affiliates.
Yeah, we've got a load of affiliate links. If you head over to our link tree, linktr.ee/It's Our House Pod, we've got loads of brands on there, pop sockets, we've got art prints, we've got gym clothes, we've got loads of stuff, loads of codes down there to save yourself 10, 15% off. Head on over there as soon as you can.
Yep, and every click helps out the pod. He's crossed the line. They said, I don't know what that is.
Somebody wants to leave.
Probably. But it's just, I just don't get this love and admiration for Mourinho. I get it when he was at Chelsea. But when he left Chelsea and he went to, was it Real Madrid?
Yes.
He won a lot of things, but let's get this right.
Was it Inter Milan?
Yeah, I think it was Inter then Real. It was Real then Inter. It was one of those ways.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
He literally had arguments with every single player he could think of at every single time.
Yeah.
From United to Real Madrid to Inter Milan, there was always someone he was arguing with and then making it public in the news. When did you ever see Alex Ferguson do that?
Only David Beckham.
But did he come out?
Throwing the boot.
But did he come out? No, he didn't.
Who,
the news, no. Ferguson didn't come out and talk about it.
Oh, no, yeah.
It was picked up for the papers. Ferguson kept his mouth shut and just got on with his job. That's the difference with every single manager at the moment. And why we haven't got those managers anymore that everyone goes, they're going to last. Because
even the managers of the teams lower down the table, like Sean Dyche at Burnley, he started being a bit gobby and a bit moany. You know, I think Chris Wilder had been towards the end.
Yep.
Dean Smith at Villa, I think he's been complaining a bit recently. Like, just keep it behind closed doors. Because as you say, when the media or whoever it might be, the newspapers, whatever, say, "Oh, Jose, why didn't you play Dele Alli today?" Just be like, "Oh, picked up a bit of a knock in training."
Yep.
Or his confidence hasn't been there because he hasn't been playing too much recently, but he's on his way back. Don't be like, because he's letting himself down. His performances haven't been very good. Like, what does that say? If that was me as a player, I mean, I'm quite defeatist as it is anyway. But if that was me as a player and my manager said that about me, I'd be like, all right, fuck you then. I'll take my $100,000 a week and I'll sit on the bench and I won't put any effort in training. Because if you get rid of me, it's going to be breach contract and you're going to have to pay me compensation.
It is very true. We might lose one sub and then Deez has a panic attack.
On a fucking Twitter rant. A Twitter rant.
You're spot on. And I think that's the issue with. It's kind of why, to be honest, at the moment I'm falling out of it. It's not just that I've seen Liverpool win anything. I'll always follow the results. I'll always keep an eye on them. I always want them to do well. When they're not, I'm still supporting them. It's not like I'm gonna, jump tomorrow and go, right, I'm supporting City now because they're winning. I've been a Liverpool fan since the day I was born. I still remember every single game, every single win we've ever had, and every single loss I take to heart. And Klopp's been a godsend in that way because when we're winning, he's that smiley, huggy, amazing manager. But I just feel like when the team is down, he hasn't really motivated as much as I thought he might. And I don't know whether now he's got stars. Can you do it with lesser players?
What I was going to say, that sort of what I was going to allude to a little bit. What I think has hurt Klopp, and I know obviously he didn't do it in his first season, his first couple of seasons, and obviously he's gone to great success since then. But like you say, we are seeing those cracks, and we are seeing him getting a little bit ratty and a little bit arsey. It's England. It's how we treat people.
Our media as well, yeah.
It's our media. It's our fans. It's we want that because we want something to talk about outside of just, the game was good or the game was shit. We want, what did you hear what Mourinho said? Did you hear what Klopp said? Did you hear what Pep said? It gets people talking. It sells papers. It sells subscriptions. When Klopp, obviously, I follow German football. I follow basically every league in the world. But when Klopp was over there, when he was Dortmund manager, did you ever hear about him in the papers?
No, it's like Pochettino now.
And it might be different in Germany. Obviously, I don't look through the German papers, but I can guarantee you, every fan in Italy, every fan in Germany, every fan in France, every fan in Spain, every fan in Portugal, they know the shit that's happening in the Premier League. They know the arguments that Ferguson had with Wenger. Wenger had with Mourinho. All the shit Mourinho is talking about, and all the shade that he's throwing. People all around the world will know that because we put so much attention on it and we put so much importance on it because, like I say, it's got to sell papers and it's got to get website clicks. It's all clickbait.
Yeah.
You'll never guess what Jose Mourinho said in his post-match interview. Click. And he was like, for tonight, I'm going to have pasta salad. It could be anything.
Not a KFC pizza, though.
Much.
Not going to have that, is he?
He's the kind of pervert that would have one and he'd fucking enjoy it as well.
It's the Kevin Keegan rant, isn't it? Do you remember? Remember the Kevin Keegan rant? That's what it is.
Oh, I would love it.
Yeah. That's what it is. And it's been such a difficult season. I'll be honest, for Liverpool, because I don't mind if we weren't going to win the league this year. Like I said, I've literally seen us win every single trophy in existence that Liverpool can possibly win, up to the Cup Winners' Cup. I've seen it all, but I didn't think we'd whimper away, and I still don't think it's the worst title defense ever that everyone's going and saying Leicester's was the worst. They finished 12th. Just saying. But
maybe Leicester's isn't seen as being bad because of what they achieved.
Yeah, and I think it's also, it didn't happen in such a quick time. We had 7 games up until this point now that I'm talking where we've just lost everything. We've lost our unbeaten home record. We haven't scored at Anfield in like 650 something minutes, which is the most we've ever haven't scored at a game. We've Klopp's lost his record against Everton. You know what I mean? We got walked over by City and a few others. It's just, that's the heartbreaking bit. If we lose 1-0, but there's a fight, fair enough. But
who are you playing next? Who's it?
I shall Monday. Tomorrow it is.
Oh. And it Wolves or someone like that.
Wolves away, which again is a winnable game, and we're all right away. We're not too bad away. And hopefully now with Fabinho back in that central midfield, and Jota will start. He's got to. He might get 1 or 2, because we were great against Leipzig during the week. We were fantastic.
Yes, you were. Yeah. 2-0 and 2-0, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we could have easily
a good Leipzig.
Yeah, and we could have easily scored another 2. I think they hit the bar and the post. But we could have skipped if we weren't trying to walk the ball into the net, which is another.
Wasn't it played somewhere else though? Wasn't it played in Prague or something like that?
It's where they were saying it's the first home game that we've won, not at Anfield. Jesus, it was like Belarus or somewhere shit like that.
Let me circle back around to talk about fans again just quickly, because I think this popped up today on my BBC Sport app. It might have been yesterday. That they are now pushing for fans to be at the last game of the season.
Okay.
They want 20,000 fans to be in stadiums for the last game of the season. I don't know if it's just the Premier League or if it's the Championship as well. Anything below that would struggle to obviously get that many fans. So I imagine it's probably just the Premier League. What's the point? What's the point?
So we can parade the title.
Exactly. This is what I said to my missus earlier. I was like, if you're a team that's just got relegated this season, if you're a Sheffield United, you've just seen your hometown hero sacked, the guy that got you up to the Premier League and nearly into Europe. Oh, great. We can go and watch the last game of the season. Oh, cool. Yeah, wonderful. We're 20 points off safety. Football. I don't understand the appeal, especially when it's still not 100% perfectly okay to go and do things.
Yeah, I think it's more, isn't it, for hope. I don't really think it's more connected to football. I think if people can go to the last game of the season, then it gives them hope for August. I think that's purely what it comes. It gives fans the confidence to go back. It's like we said, when will fans be confident about going back in? And unfortunately, some of the data at the moment is kind of kicking a lot of lockdown fans' arses. Floridas that have been open since last year, and their numbers, even though they've got the UK variants, their numbers are plummeting, absolutely plummeting. And they've had,
and we've still got a few hundred people dying every day, haven't we?
Yeah, and we've got restaurants open. They've got Disney's open. You know, all their stadiums are open. They've still got social distancing and masks, but there's even conversation today. The CDC are going to reduce 6 feet to 3, so a meter apart.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Again, opens up a lot more for that state. But it's not even just Florida. A lot of the states that have stayed open are plummeting. US as a whole is handling it awfully at the start.
Yeah.
But are they now kind of getting that balance right? And I think that's what we're going to struggle with here in the UK.
We still ain't got a fucking clue what we're doing.
Well, Boris is
we still ain't got a clue what we're doing. Not a clue.
Boris is an idiot. But let's get away from that.
I'm about to go back to work in a few weeks, about 4 weeks' time now, and I still don't even really fully know if it's the right thing to do. Like, I'm going where I work is in quite an elderly community, but my job is to make money. Like, what fucking money am I going to make? Old people are still scared to go out. They're still going to be shielding. Not everybody's had the vaccine yet.
Did you see the South Park episode this week?
No, the vaccine one. No.
Mate.
Great numbers, didn't it?
It was like raw absolutely amazing. It was the reverse. Like, all the adults and the kids were stuck indoors, and the old people were outside doing like wheelies on motorbikes and giving all the youth the finger and that. So it was brilliant. The one thing I will say about the UK is the vaccine rollout has been absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
we're top across Europe. They're looking to do 1 million a day. They're looking to do, we're not going into the Europa League this year. They're trying to do 1 million a day from next week. And again, within the space of a month, that should get us to 30 million. We've already done 20 odd million. So that's effectively 98% of the whole of the UK population vaccinated with the first jab. America have just vaccinated today 4.6 million people on one day. That's freaking insane. That's insane.
It's a massive, massive, massive country, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But still, 4.6 million people. 4.6 million people. That's insane. And, you know, here in the UK, I think like 98% of the over 80s, I think like 100% of the over 70s. I think then it drops down to like 80% and then 60, and then there's like 30 and 20 going down to the teens. But, you know, there's a big uptake in it. There's a big, you know, everyone is agreeing to take it. So everyone who is, and you're not listening to these fucking stupid, ridiculous skeptics, thank you very much. You know, you're helping us all get back to a normal life, and you're giving people hope. And that's what matters. So then me and Deez can meet up. Me and Deez can go to live events and actually broadcast fucking things. You know what I mean? That's what we want.
Speaking of hope, back onto football. I'll very briefly do mine because, like I say, nobody really cares about Cov. So, like, I was going to ask you, what do Liverpool need? Let's write this season off. Let's say it ends tomorrow. What do Liverpool need for if the new season was to start in a couple of weeks?
Yep.
Where do you need to invest? What do you need to change? What do you need to make different? For Cov, it's basically we need to keep the team we've got, get rid of the dead weight. We keep bringing in a lot of players who are the next big thing.
Yeah.
And then he loans them out to like Kidderminster and like non-league teams. Then we never see them again. We need to literally stay in the Championship, get some more of that TV money, because we've been on Sky quite a lot since going up to the Championship, like 6 or 7 times, which don't sound like a lot, but
but it's for use, isn't it?
Yeah, like we play 46 games a season, so 46 games times 24 teams. There's a lot of football going on, so to be on TV up to 10 times is great.
Yeah,
probably make a few million in TV money. Our problem is like what we said about about Tottenham, Liverpool, all the big teams not invested in backup striker. Our top scorer's got 5 goals, and he's a midfielder.
Yeah,
you know we lost our star striker, Matty Godden, many months ago, a few months ago, and I don't know if we've missed him because he was proven in League One. That's our main problem. We buy players for where we've come from rather than where we're going to.
Yeah.
You know, like in a game, like if you're following someone with a sniper rifle or something, you shoot for where they're going. You don't shoot where they've just come from because you're just gonna miss. And in the case of football, if you miss, it's too late and you end up getting relegated back down to League One again, and we financially cannot afford to go back down. We need to get. Oh no, tell a lie. We got a lad called Tyler Walker from Forest. He'd scored 1 goal in his time at Forest.
He's the future of the business. He's the future of the business.
And we recently signed a lad. I think I complained to you on Twitter about it. I'd never fucking heard of this lad. No one's heard of this lad. He'd come from like a fucking Barnet or a Burton or something like that.
You're going to say a barn? He came from a barn.
I can't even tell you his name. That is honestly how little I know of him. He has been playing football for 3 years and he scored 2 goals and he's a striker. In like non-league football and on loan at shitty teams. That's what we always do. We always think the sign of the next big thing. But the problem is when you're Coventry and you buy the next big thing, you ain't going to keep the next big thing because they're going to go on and be I don't know, who's doing one in the Premier League? James Maddison.
Yeah.
James Maddison is a Cov kid. He's from around here. He was brilliant for us. He went off to Norwich. Went off to Leicester and has torn it up at Leicester. He's one of the most sought after players.
Yeah.
He was one of them that we brought in from the academy. He was the next big thing. Loaned him out a couple of times. Gone, and we didn't make any money from it. I think we made pennies because he only went to Norwich.
Yeah.
So we probably made 10% when he went to Leicester. But yeah, our problem is that we just can't. We're never looking forward. We're always looking now.
Yeah.
So what about Liverpool?
Oh, talk about it all day. Let's look at our starting 11. If everyone, obviously injuries has played a major impact into our season, but I still don't think it's enough to justify the position that we're in. Klopp, a lot of people say Klopp hasn't had the money to go and buy who he wants. I don't necessarily think that's true. He's had quite a lot of investments. I think people want the 60, 80 million pound players, and maybe after we won the league, that's what we could have done. But in a pandemic time where money's not coming in from fans being in the stadium, from merchandise sales are probably dropped. You're not getting as much TV money because obviously teams like Coventry, etc., are all being on Sky, so it's got to be spread out a lot more.
How much? Just quickly, how much is it for a home ticket?
It varies.
The cheaper home tickets,
about 40 odd quid.
So even 40 odd quid, and you've got like a 50, 60,000 seater.
Yeah. It gets obviously more
millions,
expensive.
many millions per game.
Yeah. So we've lost all that revenue. I don't think Klopp's bought well. I'll be honest. We've got Trent. Obviously, I love Trent. Trent's amazing. Alisson. We got Van Dijk, Gomez. Matip's a good backup, but he's always injured. We got Robbo. Robbo's brilliant, but we brought I can't even say his name. The left back we signed. He hasn't literally never played a game. Played in a friendly twice, I think. Begins with a T. Tsitsipas or something like that.
From like Ajax, was it?
Yeah, someone like that.
Yeah.
Then in midfield, we've got obviously Henderson, who's now injured. We've got Fabinho. Milner obviously is old. The Ox is always bloody injured. Keita keeps getting injured, can't have a run of games. And then obviously up front, you've got Mane, Salah and Firmino. We signed very well with Jota. I think Jota was a fantastic signing, but again, got injured, which, it's this hard press and play that Klopp plays. A lot of players can't handle it the first time they join, so injuries happen quite quickly. And then obviously we had to go out and buy defenders in January, even though I necessarily don't think Klopp wanted to, but the fans kind of pressured him to do it. And we brought Ben Davies in, who hasn't kicked a football for us. Kappa, who's he's doing okay, but again, he's 19, 20, something like that. We've got him on loan. We can't sign him permanently yet till next year if we want to at all. I just think, Klopp has two problems. Injuries plays a massive part. You can't say it doesn't. You just can't say it doesn't. But B, he is so loyal, it hurts him. Bobby Firmino shouldn't have been on that pitch for 6 of those.
Loyal to the players, yeah.
He shouldn't have been on that pitch. Yes, I was his biggest fan last year. I was his biggest fan the year before. He has an excellent way of linking up play, bringing the other two in. But when the other two aren't performing, it lands on him. And if he's not scoring and they're not scoring, the only one who can be replaced is him, because you're not dropping Mane and Salah, are you? And I think Klopp has been so poor in the fact that he won't change style. He won't change tactics. We play 4-3-3 every single game that's ever existed, even if we're garbage. He won't make a sub to the 71st minute. Even if we're 4-0 down, he won't do it. I don't understand why. You know, we were woeful against Everton. It's half time, and no subs are made. Fulham, no subs are made at half time. It's things like this that have stopped him. So what can he do going forward? I think he's got to sell a lot of players. But again, who's going to buy them? Who's going to buy them with the money situation in the world?
Yeah,
as
I was
it
going to
is?
say at that price, especially being an ex-Liverpool player like that, Minamino.
Yeah.
Minamino,
Minamino,
like that.
Minamino,
on loan at
Southampton.
If they decide they want to buy him, he's probably going to be what 20-25 million, something
Yeah,
like
but
that.
to be fair, I think we only got him for like 7. You know what I mean? He was a steal when we got him. But it's more like Mo wants to go. I know for a fact he wants to go. I have very close friends to the club. He's got his agent asking around for availability, but no one's going to meet his wage demands. I don't blame him for going. It's his last step. Why not fucking go and get the money that you want? Mane was the same last year for Barca, but again, Barca are in that stage now. Why would you want to go and play for them? Why would you want to go and play for Barcelona?
Yeah, there ain't many. If I was at Liverpool, maybe Munich.
Yeah, I think the only big hitters are Munich and Juve. They're the only ones that I would consider going for at the moment. You know, who I don't even say Juve in terms of, you know, they're taking the world by storm, but I mean they're constantly going to be in that position of top 1 or 2.
Yeah, they want to get paid. They want to. They're doing everything they can to get to that Barca level.
And if Ronaldo goes, yeah, but even Real Madrid, Atletico are storming up at the moment. Atletico are doing well, but again, Diego Simeone's always been like that. He's a dog, isn't he, when it comes to that type of play? So I think we're really, really going to struggle. I don't see who we can bring in at all. I think, you know, if I had a bucket ton of money and I could pick my player, it would be Haaland from Dortmund.
I was literally just going to say Haaland. Every fucker wants Haaland.
I think whoever buys him is going to win the league for the next 4 or 5 years if he stays fit. I think he's just got everything that you want as a player. Where he fits, though, I don't know. He's not a Klopp player. I don't think he's a Pep player either. Pep Guardiola. I don't think he's his type of player. But they need a striker in the summer because obviously. I tell you who I
go for. I don't know if you'd agree. And I don't think he's in his latter years. He's probably about 32, 33 now. If you were to let go of a Firmino, and you could get this guy not on the cheap because he would still cost a fair bit of money and his wages would probably be quite high. Why not a Lewandowski?
I think that the only way that happens is if Haaland goes to Bayern. Yeah. If there's any choice at all. I think the only other player, obviously, if money was not an issue, would be Mbappe. But again, I think if you're going to do it, you're going to have to sell Salah and Mane just to even get close to knocking on the door.
What about a Griezmann? Someone like Anton Griezmann? Or
he's gone to Barca, and what's he done?
Nothing.
You know what I mean? This is the problem with these players. I don't understand. I know it's agents. I know it's money, and we can go into this in a whole other episode, which actually would be good to talk about agents. But I know it's agents and money. But if I was a player, I don't understand when you're in the game. It's like us. We're in the podcast world, right? And Joe Rogan comes knocking on our door, and he goes to us, come sign for us. So we go and sign for Joe Rogan's network, and we're on Joe Rogan's network, and we're making a fair bit of money. Then you look over and someone who's made loads of money in the past, let's call it, I don't know, like Vince Russo's pod. Yeah. So let's say Vince Russo's pod was making loads of money, and you can see now he's in the latter stage of his career. You can see his production team isn't scored as many goals as they used to. His production team isn't putting out hits like they used to. Why in God's name do people want to leave the team they're in where they're making money to go to a team that's falling apart? I don't. I know it's money. But like when Coutinho went to Barca, where did he think he fit? Where did he think? Because fans knew he wouldn't fit.
Didn't they still have Neymar?
Yeah, they had Neymar, obviously Messi. Suarez was there. They don't play an attacking midfielder because Messi cuts in there.
Yeah.
That's where Messi goes. So where does Suarez fit? But again, these players just want the money, and I don't understand. It's not even loyalty, because if he would have left, like Sterling left to go to City, I hated the idea of him going to City. He was going to make more money, but look what he's gone on to do. You can't question that. You can't argue with that. That's fair enough. We weren't in the position to keep him, and he went and got money elsewhere. We were in a position to keep Coutinho. We were in that position. Klopp told him he wasn't going anywhere, and he went, and look what he did. And this is what I don't understand about agents and players. If you left this pod and went to another pod and it crumbled and crashed because your agent told you to, because you'd make like some money on the slide, you would sack that agent off, wouldn't
you? Yeah.
These players don't do it, and I don't understand it.
You can obviously, like, you can understand to an extent why they take the money, and anybody looking from the outside in would be a liar if they said that they wouldn't take the money that these footballers are on. No matter how much you complain, oh, footballers are on too much money. Yes, they are, because they are offered too much money. It's not the footballer's fault. No. Why would they say no? Why would Rooney turn down the 300 grand a week that he was on at United? Why?
Exactly.
So yeah, no, I completely understand what you're saying and where you're coming from. In certain cases, yeah, it makes sense. Like you said, with Sterling, Man City had big plans. They had big money. They were going to invest beyond him as well, and there was a very good chance that he could go on and do something.
And they needed English talent.
Yeah,
to fit the rota. Yeah, so it made sense across the board. If it was me though, and I got offered the chance, like I was a Liverpool born and bred, and I play for Everton, right? And I was doing well for Everton, and someone kind of on that same ilk, because you got to remember, Liverpool were challenging before Coutinho left. We just finished second with Rodgers. Then we got Klopp in, and yes, I know it's another rebuild. I get it. You have to sit through that rebuild again. But Klopp obviously would have made promises to these players. So if I'm sat there as an Everton player, just because I want to get loyalty out the picture, do you know what I mean? It's not about loyalty. If I'm sat there and I'm Rooney and another team on my, like Tottenham come in for me, right? And Tottenham go, right, we want to sign for you. You're going to play the exact same position you're on now, but you're on an extra 50 grand a week. Why not just go to Everton's board and say, look, these are offering me 50 grand a week. I don't want the 50 grand a week. I'll take it gladly, but offer me 20 more and I'll stay.
Offer me 20 more, make me captain.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And I know I'm playing every single game or something like that.
Exactly. And I know loyalty, pardon me, in anything isn't a thing, but it's the one thing we push here. And that's why me and you work. That's why me and you work.
It's weird with football. Like, it just comes down to the person and the person's morals, and if they've got morals. If I was, and it depends what team you're at as well, because like with you being a Liverpool fan, obviously, if you were to play for Liverpool, that would be your ultimate because you can win. You can win even if Liverpool. I don't know the way I'm trying to word this, but you know that Liverpool are going to be at least challenging.
Yeah.
If they're not going to be winning, they're going to be at least challenging. For me, as a Cov fan, a lifelong Cov fan, I dreamt of playing for Cov as a kid because I obviously dreamt very small dreams. But if I was to play for Cov, I would never go in as like a 19, 20-year-old lad or whatever and think, yeah, this is it. I'm going to play for Cov forever. I'm going to have aspirations to go higher.
Yes.
I wouldn't go to a Villa or a Birmingham or a Leicester or a West Brom or a Wolves or a Derby or a Forest or a Stoke or I could name another 100 teams that we hate because they're better than us. I would only go if it was a really good opportunity. So many footballers now, you look at them and you just think, oh fuck, what was his name? Eric Choupo-Moting. You know the one I mean?
Yes.
He played for Stoke in the Premier League.
Yes.
This is when Stoke were like in their last couple of seasons before going down. When Ryan Shawcross was still their best player, which so that's that stage where they were at. I don't know where he went from Stoke, but his last two clubs have been. You're gonna have to forgive me, anybody, if I get this wrong. One of them's definitely been Bayern Munich, and I believe the other one was PSG. I think it was PSG 2 there. He'd been a free agent. PSG picked him up. He helped them win trophies. He's gone to Munich, and I'm pretty sure he's helped them win trophies. So, like, he hasn't gone to PSG thinking, oh, I'm going to get in ahead of Neymar, Cavani, Di Maria, fucking Pastore, all of these lot. He hasn't gone on to Munich thinking, yeah, I'm going to be the next Lewandowski. I'm going to get in there ahead of Serge Gnabry, who's like fucking shit hot all of a sudden, even though he couldn't get in the West Brom team. He's another one. Did he need to leave Arsenal to go to Munich? He couldn't get in the Arsenal team. Was there any chance he was going to get in the Munich team? Probably not. But look at him now. Serge Gnabry, believe it or not, is one of the best players in the world at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on the player, depends on the morals. Like I say, a lot of it comes down to the agent.
It does. But let's put it into context. I think a lot of what you're saying there is the team that they're playing for example, isn't necessarily the best, or they couldn't get in that first 11. So when they leave, that's fair enough. You go and leave and you go and do what you're doing. Coutinho was our star player. Yes, he was on fire for us the season he left and the season before. Like Suarez, when he left. Fernando Torres did it at the wrong time, but his career was kind of going downhill because of his injuries anyway. But
when he went to Chelsea.
When he went to Chelsea, yeah. But we've had players do this consistently at Liverpool because we could never get to that, Premier League winning level. That's why they left. I get it. But I'll say it again. When you're playing the best football of your career, I get why Suarez went. He's getting in the team. He gets to play next to Messi. They didn't have a striker like that. They didn't have one.
Yeah.
When Coutinho left us, the reason why he left us, one of the reasons was he didn't want to play left wing. What did they do when they signed him? They played him left wing.
Why not just have that conversation with the manager?
Well, but they obviously did. And he just left for that. It's the same way on the flip side, I've got huge respect for Harry Kane for staying at Spurs because, that's his die-hard club and everything. But at the same time, I could also see why he wants to leave. Maybe because maybe it's because my heart's not attached to the club. I can see the benefit of it. But again, there's teams and players from other teams. I'm trying to get one in my head now, but I don't see why they would go to that respective club.
Yeah, like how would you feel as let's say Mo Salah is from Liverpool. Interesting name choice for a Scouser. Let's say Salah was from Liverpool. Liverpool born and bred, Liverpool fan all of his life, but Liverpool were at about the same level that Spurs are at now.
Mm-hmm.
Always wanting to challenge, wanting to push themselves, but not really spending money, not really getting in there. They get into the top one or sort of like the top 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know that they're going to finish about 6th or 7th.
Yeah.
If he was in that exact same position and he was your version of Harry Kane, would you blame him for wanting to leave in that situation? Because obviously with Kane, yes, he's been incredibly loyal. He's still probably the highest paid player at the club. So, of course he's loyal. There's a lot of money in it for staying loyal. But
he's not coming away with medals, United.
No, that's it. Like he is eventually going to want to leave. I think he's about 27 or 28. So he's not young. He's not old. This is probably the perfect time for him if Spurs don't win anything this season or maybe next season for him to move on. As much as he loves that club, as much as it's his club, Harry Kane is one of our own. But I think more than anything, players just want to win trophies. And obviously when Coutinho left, he was probably your best player, but you weren't really winning trophies at that time, were you? You weren't winning the Premier League and the Champions League. So neither were Barcelona. Barcelona were on the decline. They have been for a few years now. But I think a lot of players, for me, it's like 50-50. They're either money motivated or they're success motivated. But if you're that success motivated, why hasn't Coutinho come down to Derby?
Yeah, but it's twofold though, and obviously I'm conscious of time, so I'll keep this short. But it's twofold: the player and the situation you're mentioning there. Harry Kane has always been the centre of Spurs. He's been the centre of Spurs for the last 5 years. The team is built around Harry Kane. What I didn't like about Coutinho is Klopp told him he was going to build the team around him. So where you're saying he wasn't winning stuff, he would have eventually gone on to win stuff. I don't see Spurs winning stuff. Obviously, we did go on to win stuff, whether we would have had, because obviously the Coutinho sale led to Salah coming in, whether we would have had that same success, I don't know. But I still think we would have had a form of success under Klopp. And I think that's probably the difference between those two situations. But I fully appreciate, that players are just greedy motherfuckers who earn a lot of money more than us.
Yep.
Shit, really, innit?
Yeah. And we wouldn't turn down the money in their shoes.
No, but again, I would stay loyal. I'm loyal.
I wouldn't.
I know, yeah, you're a scumbag. So if anyone wants to sign Chris Deez, head on over to It's Our House Podcast and throw it.
I ain't worth the money.
No, you don't know how much I firefight. You don't know how much I firefight on a daily basis. But we hope you've enjoyed this episode. It's been very different. Again, we are evolving, as you can see from our brand new logo. Mr. Deez has the t-shirt on there if you can't see it. If you can't, because you're on our podcast platform, head on over to Twitter.
Yeah, if you're on Spotify, it's a t-shirt.
Yeah, with the logo on.
That's about it, really. It's a t-shirt. It's blue. It's comfortable. It's a bit big, so order a size down or whatever you are. It's very nice. Bubble. Very cheap as well, and very quick.
Yes, 3 days.
I don't want to talk too much shit about PWTs, but I waited like a month and a half for my shirt from them. Yeah, Redbubble, amazing. 3 days.
Yep. And you can get us on bath mats, whatever you want, really. Cups, mugs, the lot. So we got a new relationship with them.
Towels, pillows.
Yeah, whatever you want. Bags, dresses, even for the ladies.
I want pants.
If you just likes to wear dresses.
I want it on pants. Let's get it on pants. Yeah, especially that nice big gold microphone down the middle of my pants.
So yeah, we've got a new logo which we wanted to change. We love wrestling and we're never ever going to go away from wrestling. We love talking about it, but we're very conscious that there's thousands and thousands and thousands of wrestling podcasts out there, all offering the same type of content. Ex-wrestlers, Kurt Angle's just got his new one. Obviously, Bischoff is doing it. Vince Russo. What's her name? Renee, obviously she's got hers. I think Bliss does like a kind of interview thing as well for WWE.
Yeah, New Day, Corey. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, I love what we do, but at the end of the day, like if I'm a common fan and it's like, oh, I can listen to these two dickheads from Liverpool and Coventry, or I can listen to Eric Bischoff, who we happen to have had on this podcast. Go back and check it out on YouTube. I know where I'm going, but that's like you say. That's why we're trying to do something different, and we've got loads lined up. We've got a New York Times best-selling author coming on in a few weeks' time. We've got super successful YouTubers. We've got
you would have seen Kevin Paul, obviously at this point.
Kevin Paul. We've got so celebrity tattooists, done Ed Sheeran and all that lot. We're working on loads more. We haven't got this random country singer prick. But yeah, the less said about that, the better.
But honestly,
lots of cool stuff going on.
Yes, lots of cool stuff going on. And honestly, we can't understate how successful we've been in such a short time frame. And this is for all those idiots that I've had arguments with this week, right? We're proud of this podcast. We're very proud. Like, because of this podcast, I've been able to tick off one of the biggest names in professional wrestling that I grew up watching, that I grew up idolizing, the same as Deez. We've had the chance to sit down with that person and pick their brains. Not only pick their brains, but to say to Deez personally, he loved his work ethic and his drive. That's exactly why we do this. So yes, if it leads to money, great. If it leads to sponsorships, great. If we can get money from our logos, great. If we can get money from t-shirts, fantastic. But we will reiterate it like we always do. Every single penny we've made from this pod in 5 months has gone right back into the product. It's bought this mic, it's bought these headphones, it's bought what Deez has got, it's buying this PC, it's everything.
It's bought me these pop vinyls.
Yeah, it's bought those pop vinyls.
It hasn't really bought me the pop vinyls. I buy them when I say I've got no money.
He's buying them with furlough. But that's why we do it. And for every fan who's been with us from the start, to every fan who's going to come after that, we just want to say, again, a massive thank you. Massive thank you. We get there's thousands of podcasts out there, but for once a week, you get to sit with us and listen to us chat shit.
And I would just like to say, Faz doesn't normally get into arguments.
No, I don't. So you
Faz
can
gets
see
into
how much...
arguments when I'm getting into an argument and I drag his name through the mud.
Yeah. So you can see exactly why that peed me off. If I reply to you in an argument with an argument, I'm angry, very angry at that situation. And I don't do that. I'm the pacifist. I'm the pacifist of the group. I'm the baby face of the group. Even though Renee said I have a great smile. Thank you.
Someone said to me the other day, "Oh, you're very passive aggressive, aren't you?" I said, "There's no fucking passive about it, mate. Just aggressive."
That's me. That's me. So thank you, everyone. We really hope you stick around. We've got so many ideas, and again, as soon as we can start making, a little bit more money in it, again, it's going to go back into the product. We're looking to do Twitch. We're looking to do, travel stuff. We're looking to obviously meet in person and do live interviews with guests. We're looking to do wrestling shows. Local restaurants reviews, food reviews, whatever, let us know, and we love you all. So you can follow me on Twitter. It's at Fazza's Thoughts. It'll always be at the bottom of the screen, but this is for our audio listeners. It's at Fazza's Thoughts. That's Fazzas Thoughts. And Mr. Deez, you want to tell them about you and our beautiful pod, you social media mogul?
At PWCDs for pro wrestling CDs, and at It's Our House Pod on literally everything. We're even on TikTok. Still don't really know why. Don't really understand it.
It's to own the name. To own the name. We don't want them to take it off.
Yeah, just stop imitators.
Yeah.
We're on everything. Spotify, Google, Apple, Amazon, everywhere you can get your podcasts. YouTube is where we really put our heart and soul into. And hit up our link tree, as the advert said at the start and in the middle. Hit up our link tree for affiliate codes, get loads of cool merch, get our merch, as Faz said, on Redbubble. And again, I will say, in the last 28 days we've had, and again, it's not a lot for the big names, but for us it is. We've had about 150 subs in the last month alone. So thank you again to every single one of yous who has subscribed. We love you all, and we all hope you have a fantastic week, apart from Deez, because if you argue with him, he will destroy you. Take it easy, folks.